Welcome back. So we're 3 months into the car and I want to go over 5 things that I don't like about the car. Now, we're kind of nitpicking here because I love the car. I love almost everything about it, but there's just tiny little things that if I need to point out something I don't like, this would be it. So let's start with the most minor one, in my opinion, and that is closing the frunk, because you got to put your hands all over the paint. So let me show you what I mean. So if you guys saw one of my previous videos where I did the armor coating all over it and I had the car detailed perfectly, and the last thing I would want to do is put my hands on it. Now, you're supposed to, according to the manual, put one hand on either side of the T and press down. Well, since I'm holding the camera, let's just do one hand across. Not only did I feel like I was going to bend it, I also have fingerprints on the paint, and that's just not cool. Okay, the second annoyance I have is the lack of integration of Apple Music and CarPlay. You might have noticed I wear an Apple Watch, I have an iPhone, so in the Apple ecosystem. Sure, Spotify is built in, but no CarPlay, no Apple Music. So you can go to the Apple Music website and you can control some of it here, but once you start driving, then it's not usable at that point. So why not just integrate it here? You have Spotify, TuneIn, the karaoke is their branded music channel with singing along, which is actually kind of fun. They have their own branded streaming music. It's $10 a month after the first 12 months with the premium package. So because I have the long range model, premium package was built in, so I have this for a year. Sure, I don't need the entire screen to take over, to have CarPlay across the whole screen, but maybe give me a section, give me a corner, give me a side, give me something where I can control Apple Music, I can have Apple's Maps, and if I want, put Waze up there, or just, a couple third-party things that would just make it a little bit better. Okay, my third minor complaint is the lack of HomeLink integration. Now, you can get it aftermarket. You have to order the part from Tesla, they'll ship it to your house, and then you call a service center, make an appointment, and then you bring it into the service center, and it's $300 for the part, and installation is included. So once you make that appointment, you bring it in with the part, and they'll install it for you. Now, it's included in every other model, and they took it out of the Model 3 to save costs. I don't know what HomeLink costs to them. They're charging us $300 for it, and there's no other way to open your garage. They said Wi-Fi control at the garage is coming soon, and that was back in April, and now it's September. So we're a long ways away from coming soon, and they're talking about rebuilding the autopilot from the ground up, so they probably have all their resources doing that right now. Well, I don't know, I'm back and forth thinking whether I should get HomeLink or not, or just go the old-fashioned way. I think I'm going the old-fashioned way. Just put the garage door opener in here, and I can open it. Okay, the other thing I wanted to go over was the supercharger miles. Now, I used my brother's code when I ordered the Tesla, because he also has a Tesla. So we both got 1,000 supercharger miles. And when we got the miles, it said that it was going to expire in 6 months. 6 months. So I got the car at the end of June, and by the end of December, it was going to expire. Well, I went back into the app, and I checked, and now it expires the end of June 2021. I asked my brother to check his also got extended by 6 months. So it's a little bit more reasonable that your supercharger miles will expire in a year, but 6 months is really just not cool. There's a pandemic going on right now. Where am I going to travel to use these supercharger miles? I want to take a trip and make use of them, but right now is not a good time. Maybe that's why they extended it to 12 months. But just keep that in mind. Supercharger miles due to a referral from somebody else typically expire within 6 months. Okay. And my last, fifth and final complaint, and it's a pretty big one. So if you saw one of my previous videos where I went through a puddle when I was using autopilot in the rain, and it was a pretty decent sized puddle, and autopilot didn't steer me around it or anything like that, but I just kind of caught the edge of it. And yeah, I heard some water coming, rushing in from like under the car, but I didn't think anything of it. And then I heard this scraping noise when I got off the highway and I was on the side roads. And I thought the scraping noise was maybe water in the wheel well. I wasn't really sure where the sound was coming from. It sounded like it might have been coming from the tire. I wasn't sure. I was at work for 24 hours, so I thought the water would have drained out. I still heard the noise, and I had looked underneath, but I didn't really get all the way under there. Well, I finally did. I finally got all the way under the car to see what this noise was. And if you go under the car, the bulk of the car in the middle is metal. And then in the front and the rear, you have almost like a hard cardboard fabric type stuff. It's hard to explain. It's almost like if you look at this. Almost like this, but like it's like this kind of material, but like a cardboard, a little bit thicker than this. Really, really cheap looking stuff. And it turned out that I broke the aero shield by going through that puddle. In the 2019 model, they had a problem with water breaking the aero shield. So they went ahead and they redesigned the aero shield to accommodate going through puddles. So I spoke to Tesla, and they said that I'm not covered under the warranty because I have the updated aero shield and it's not supposed to break by going through puddles. Well, it did. So obviously the redesign wasn't good enough. Well, they told me, too bad. About $200 later, I had to bring it down to Tesla. They had to put it up and change out that part. And I said, well, I guess I'll be back here next time I go through a puddle because it's not fixed. So another thing to keep in mind when you're going through a puddle, just be careful that it's not a deep puddle and you're not going too fast because you can break the underside of your car. I saved the piece that broke off because it was just dangling. That's what the scraping noise was. So I just ripped it off the rest of the way. And there's all wires and stuff under there. So I was like, I don't want that getting wet. So I had to get it fixed. I saved it. I had left it in the trunk, and of course Tesla took it out, and I don't have that piece to show you. I did take a picture of it. I'll flash it up on the screen, and maybe you guys can get a better idea of what I'm talking about there. All right, so those are my top 5 complaints, 2020 edition, just a couple months in. Maybe down the road we'll do another video if have anything else that really bothers me. But you guys saw I put the carbon fiber wrap on. I still love it. And my next video, I'm going to solve one of my complaints, the opening and closing of the frunk. So I ordered an opener from Tesla Offer, and it's going to open the frunk and close the frunk with the touch of a button. So I look forward to bringing that to you guys next. And until then, drive safe.